We'll just wait, see who gets up in here. It's loud, boy. Let's see who shows up. Let's see who shows up. Let's see who shows up. People like to talk crazy. And then when time for live, it can't be found anywhere. Gone. MIA. MIA. No me MIA when Moors go live. Don't be MIA when Moors go live. All day commenting. When Moors go live, nothing. Everybody finally has something to do for the day. We'll see who else gets up in here. Should be an easy one, because Moors already know this, but people want to play games. People want to play games. So whenever you see these individuals wearing fezzes and you see them working for the European, and you see them in your research, and you bump into these individuals who are wearing fezzes, but they're working with the European. Now, when you see this, remember that the other people in the world, other than Moors, who wear fezzes, you're not telling them or going and debate them about why you wearing the fez if these Moors with fezzes were working with the European. You never go debate them. You always got something to say to Moors. How come you always have something to say to Moors? Why is it that you only have something to say with Moors? Nobody else you're going to debate. Europeans going to be up in here talking about renounce U.S. citizenship and all that stuff. Nothing. Crickets. As soon as Moors start talking about we're not citizens and all that, we're on a higher status, I want to hear that. You're running to debate Moors. Never have they gone to one of these Europeans and challenged them. Never. But, you know, we already know who the real sellouts are. And the sellouts are the ones who are diverting you from proclaiming that you're a Moor. The sellouts are the ones who are trying to keep you Negro, black, and colored. Don't worry about these guys and, you know, they sold out because they're wearing fezzes. Don't worry about them. because just for the record, don't debate Moors, debate Robert Edgerton. Go debate Robert Edgerton, who wrote the book The Troubled Heart of Africa, A History of the Congo. The first 10 men from the Congo to become force public recruits were Bangala. So they didn't even tell them, they didn't only tell them their nation state, they even told them their tribe that sold out. I see Moors written in there. Okay, let's see. By 1890, 700 Bangala tribesmen were in the force. In 1888, when the Congo Free State established its armed forces, the force publique was officered by Belgians, Scandinavians, and Italians. Oh, so when the force publique was going on, it wasn't only dark-skinned people that were part of the force publique, which they're going to look at this stuff and tell you some BS about Moors are working with the Europeans. Look, Moors are working with the Europeans. No, that's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. Isn't Moors working with no Europeans? Because there's also Belgians, Scandinavians, and Italians that we know for sure that they're European. So how could these Europeans be in the force publique? Nobody's telling them about they got fezzes on and why they doing that. But Moors, they're going to talk BS about, oh, there's some black guys in an army working with Europeans wearing fezzes, so those are the Moors and they sold you out. Anybody thinking like that is incompetent. And incompetence disqualifies you, that you can't even talk. That's why, you know what I'm saying? Moors talk. Because you can't tell us. We study. We're not the niggers that don't read. We're Moors. So we're studious. We have libraries at our house. We have libraries on a junk drive. That one of these Moors give you a junk drive of all the stuff they got on their computer, you'll be lost for 10 years. Because Moors are studious. So don't play your little games with Moors. Like we sold somebody out and all this type of stuff and we're cutting off hands of... No. Go talk to the Belgians about that. Because you never saw those pictures, because you never saw the pictures of the European holding up the brother's hand, you're thinking that the guys with the fezzes, who are the guys you see today saying Noble Drew Ali and Morris Science Temple and all that, oh yeah, those guys are the sellouts. Yeah, right. Don't even try. Don't even try it. Like I told you, we study. So go talk to the Belgians, and the same way you're talking to Moors, if you're going to say that we sold you out, okay, fine. If we sold you out, make sure you go talk to the Belgians, go talk to the Scandinavians, and go talk to the Italians. But almost all of its soldiers were Africans recruited from outside the Congo. Moors say we're Aboriginal and indigenous to America. So what are you talking about Moors enslave some Congolese people with some Europeans when the people who they got were from that side of the continent, not over here? The hell out of here. More study. Just always remember that, more study. And we take studying very serious. We don't play games with our mindset because we know what it means to have Negro, black, colored, dead mindset. We know what it means. And never would we go back there. At all costs, we're Moors. And we're going to talk that we're Moors. We're going to do things Moorish. And whether you like it or not, you know what I mean? Deal with it just like you deal with the Chinese and the Indians and whoever else that has a nationality. Just like you deal with them coming in your neighborhood and putting up a store, and then all the Asiatic women are going to go to that store from some foreigner instead of make their own store. And then when they make their own store, they won't support that because the foreigner is getting so much tax breaks that they could charge them costs and still make a profit. So get the hell out of here. Go debate some of these other nationalities out here. Don't come and talk to Moors. There were many Hassas and other British West Africans, as well as Somalis. Go talk to them. Egyptians. Go talk to them. Ethiopians, Rastafarians, all them. Go talk to them. Go talk to the Rastafarians about what they sold you out. Because they're saying that it's some Ethiopian people that they got. But Ethiopians, that's Haile Selassie and all that, right? Oh, okay. Oh, but he wears a golden fez. But nobody's going to pay attention that he's wearing a golden fez. They're going to play games like, you know what I mean? You know, he's God and all this type of stuff. When he's an emperor. And emperors control an empire. And what was the empire that was around during his time, 1930 and all that, when he got coronated? The Moorish Empire. That's why he wore a golden fez. Because he's the grand sovereign. Because that goes back to Kush. People playing games with you. How about tell you that on Black History Month? How about tell you all these people sold you out? And then after they sell you out, then they run over here and then they steal your estate because you want to be black. And African, whatever. And then you come from over there, but you only go there on visits. What are you coming back here for if you're a descendant of a slave that came from Africa and I leave here and go over there, why am I coming back over here for? You're not from here. So why don't you go back where you came from? Just like European says. Well, no, you don't want to do that because that whole slavery, whatever, is BS. We're all from here. So from here, let's really deal with what's going on. How come? Who sold these people out then? Because, yeah, check mark, those people over there are wearing fezzes. Right? Check mark for that. Right? Don't be fooled. Right? All these people wearing fezzes. Who are these people that really sold you out? Who are these people that sold you out? It wasn't Mars. We told you. Bangalas, Belgians, Scandinavians, Italians, Africans, Hassas, Somalis, Egyptians, Ethiopians, several hundred of the Hosa, Zanzibari. These are the people who were. The force would rely principally on Congolese natives. A few of these men were volunteers. These men were volunteers. They weren't even getting paid to sell out. And then you're looking at Moors when we were, remember this is 1800s. Moors already have been so-called toppled. No toppled anything. This is when the corruption started. Because once they removed, through their edicts and their bulls, the Moors from Europe, and the Moors left Europe, that whole jurisdiction over there fell to emoji. Because the Moors were the ones that were holding it together. This reference is from, can't see that, don't worry, I'll read it to you. The Troubled Heart of Africa, A History of the Congo, by Robert Edgerton, Edgerton. So I just say Moors did it. They say Moors did it because they don't study. If they studied, they would know that everybody has sold out. You're looking at some Europeans, like Europeans are the only whatever. Everybody's sold out. Anybody who called you black, they sold out. Because once you say you're black, then all the other stuff is attached to it. Because that was the hex that Noble Drew Ali broke when he said you're not Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian. Cracked the code. Then people didn't really realize what's going on. That's why people still calling themselves black today. In the 20s, he told you stop calling yourself black. Why? Why did he say you're not Negro, black, or colored? Because at that time there was colorable law. At that time there was Negro acts, and at that time there was black codes. And that's how they were dealing with our people. Strictly on that only. So when you go and you check, for example, the Negro law of South Carolina. Remember, this is not what we Moors say. This is what those guys over there say who are the enemy, the white man, and all that stuff. This is what they say. Right? Section 4. The term Negro is confined to slave Africans. Slave Africans? The ancient Berbers. Slave Africans, the ancient Berbers. Now you're going to look at Berbers as some black whatever. All right. Okay. Remember, this is not us talking. This is some other people talking. Warriors of Spain, Tim Hogan. Timhogan. Tim Hogan. Warriors of Spain. Author of History of the Arabs contends that the term Moor has a geographic designation meaning Western. Where's the West? The West is the Americas. The West isn't Europe. Europe's north, east. So more meaning a geographical designation of Western would mean that Moors would have had to have been in the West for Moors to be designated by Western. Real simple. It's not. That's not nothing, and it's nothing deep. He wrote, the Romans called Western African Mauritania and its inhabitants Mauri, presumably of Phoenician origin, meaning Western. Okay, so Moor has a geographic designation meaning Western. And then in a language before many languages that people talk today, the word Maori meant Western. And remember, the West is over here. Remember, over here is the West. Over there is East. This side of the Atlantic is West. And Moor means Western. How much people you hear say Moor means black? Like they lied to you because they sold out to keep you black. Moor is a Phoenician word meaning Western. Moor the term Moor meaning a being, a living entity, has been around since the Phoenicians. You know who the Phoenicians are? If you don't, go check. And then the same way that they said, oh, well, more is not just some Roman whatever. More comes from the Phoenicians. Okay, well, the same way that they say it comes from the Phoenicians, there's people who before them had a language. And more had to be in that if it's in our language. So how far does this more name go back? We're not even going to go there. We're going to keep it light for you because we know you people and your attention deficit disorder that you can't go long. So we're not even going to go too far. We're going to keep it close. The Spanish Moro and the English Moor, right, are related to the same Mori. The English Moor and the Spanish Moro are relation to the same term Moor. The Berbers, therefore, were the Moors proper. So Berbers are Moors. Real simple. Berbers are Moors. Okay, so let's go back now. So the Negro Law of South Carolina is telling you in Section 4 that the term Negro is confined to African slaves, which are the ancient Berbers. So if the slaves are the Berbers and the Berbers are the Moors, then everybody who said they came over on a slave ship, what are they? Oh, and then don't forget, over here is the West, and over here is where they say all the BS happened to them, and when they hung on the tree, and strange fruit, and all that, and Willie Lynch letter, and all that stuff, and smelling of the carcass while it swings on the stuff, and tied them to the horse, and all that stuff happened over here in the West. So there's no evading that you're Moors. You can evade all you want to, but we're just saying you can't get around it because everything leans back to us being Moors. If Berbers are the slave Africans, and the slave Africans are the ones who are in America, which is the West, saying that they're black and they're Negro and they're all these other things, when really they're Moors, because if you 1 and 1 equals 2 in every language, it doesn't even matter, then somebody's playing you and has you thinking some way that you're not supposed to be thinking. Because the term Negro is confined to slave Africans, the ancient Berbers, and their descendants. It does not embrace the free inhabitants of Africa, such as Egyptians, Moors, or the Negro Asiatics, such as Lascars. Now, Noble Drew Ali taught that Asiatics are angels. And then it would only make sense that the slave Negro brand is confined to these people who don't want to be the Egyptians, which are North Africans, the Moors, which are North Africans. So we're right in there. Our people, in the laws that these Europeans created to put a stamp on the status of these people who don't want to be who their ancient foremothers and forefathers were. They want to be Negro. Right. Now the Negro Act. Now tell me if this isn't exactly what's going on right now with our people who don't fall under being free. Right, this is the Negro Act, the ordering that governs all Negroes and other slaves. And be it enacted by the Honorable William Bull, Esquire, Lieutenant Governor, Commander-in-Chief, by with the advice and the consent of His Majesty's Honorable Council and the Commons House of Assembly of this province, and by the authority of the same, that all Negroes and Indians, free Indians in amity with this government and degrees, mulattoes and mestizos who are now free accepted, so they get exempted, mulattoes or mestizos who now are or shall hereafter be in this province, and all their issue and offspring, born or to be born, shall be, they are hereby declared to be, and remain forever hereafter absolute slaves, and shall follow the condition of the mother, and shall be deemed held, taken, reputed, and adjudged in law to be shadows. This, when you say you're black, this is what you're saying that you're signing up for. To be shadows personal in the hands of their owners. Think about all the basketball stuff and the football stuff and all of it, right? The possessors and their executors. Think about all the people who lost their house to some IRS telling them, send them a letter, we're foreclosing, and then they fall for the fake letter. Administrators and assigns and all intends, constructions and purposes whatsoever, provided always that if any Negro, Indian, mulatto, or mestizo shall claim his or her freedom, it shall and may be lawfully for such Negro, Indian, mulatto, or any person or persons whatsoever in his or her behalf to apply to the justices of the court of common pleas. Listen, you are nothing once you say you're black, because black ties you right back to Negro. And then if you're Indian, it also applies to you. And if you're claiming you're mestizo and, you know, Puerto Rican and all these labels, then you fall under the jurisdiction. Remember, this is not what we're saying. We're just reading you what their law is saying, and then you look around you, and anybody you know who's calling themselves black, which is really Negro, which is really necro, which is really dead, I bet you their conditions suck around them. And the ones whose condition is good is because they were under the sheets. People got videotape of them or whatever like that from hidden cameras, and they can't talk because people have stuff over their head. And they would never talk for fame. Never. They'll send you some little keys and stuff like that. They'll send you some keys. And they'll never just go all out. Because they know what happens when you go all out. Just ask Yassine Bey what happened when he went all out. So don't call me Mos Def anymore. Stop the BS. I'm not Mos Def. I'm Yassine Bey. Go to his concert, have the big scimitar in the back and all that, Circle 7, all that. You know. Put out his album as a museum. You know how nuts that is? That's a more right there. That's a more right there. Put out an album as a gallery. You know how crazy that is? But you know, that's that being on the science. You think these people went at Wesley Snipes because of some IRS? Nah, he was on some Kemetic and Nwapian and all that. That's why they went after him like that. I mean, some people get compromised. That's why they can't talk. Some people just give up the booty. But some people get compromised. Some people do have principles. And they got jammed. They might even lost their family member or whatever because, you know, they might have said something they shouldn't have said. Here nor there. Know that we're Moors. mean, don't let them call you Negro, black, colored, and all that. If you want to, then it's on you, because it's your birthright. Right? It's your birthright. Nothing to do with me. Just have this thing. It says, hey, you can push this thing and go live, and then you could just talk off. I'm gonna do that. If people could push live and just sit there, smoke weed, and sing songs to people, like, okay, fine, I guess that's what you want to do with it. But you know what I mean? Sure, push live and put out some information. If you got any questions, throw those in the chat. If not, you already know. You know what I mean? Once the countdown happens, that's that. I didn't see anything too crazy in the chat already, other than the reference. You already know. Looks like everybody's good then. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love. And, send this around. Somebody might want to know. If not, it is what it is. It's all for the universe. Islam, Moors, peace and love. Oh. That was okay. That was close. That was close. The 7 in Moorish culture. You can look up the 7 liberal arts. You can look that up, right? And it's easy. Just go on Google and just look that up. 7 liberal arts. Go through that. That's the relative to the 7. Look up the 7 celestial bodies. The meaning of the 7 celestial bodies, the esoteric meaning of the 7 celestial bodies, whatever. And that's what it means. Look up the 7 orishas, and then whatever comes up with that, that's what the 7 is relative to. The 7 golden candlesticks, whatever comes up under that, that's relative to the 7 in Moorish culture. And just put in the power of 7. Google that, see what happens. And there's going to be so much information about 7 that it would have to make sense as to, the answer to your question. Because certain things we can't tell you. Because this is divine and it's national. And we know that the eureka moment is through experience, not words spoken. So that's why we put up the stuff, so not just us read it, but you could read it too. Because you're going to have a whole different perspective of it than the person reading it to you. Something about seeing it. Seeing it for yourself, not hearing it. Be somebody reading it, something that they wrote down, not the authentic thing or whatever. So, but that's where I would go with that question. Because again, we're not getting into this thing. We're gonna sit here and give you some answers, to some question. No, we're gonna give you some reference points so you can go study. But this is your birthright. The question is yours, the answer is mine, is what the elders say. So, you're getting a gift by giving you reference points and letting you know that it's as easy as Google. You don't got to do what we used to do, go to the library, you got to go through the line, the aisles, pulling out books and all that type of stuff. You guys got it easy. You guys got it easy. Take advantage of that Google stuff and all that. Search engine and keywords and all that stuff. Take advantage of all that stuff. Because y'all got it easy. Have people looking at it crazy. We got 50 books around us at the library. Like, what are you studying? I'm just studying myself. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? What university do you go to? The University of the Universe. That's the university I go to. Crazy. Oh, you guys got Google right now. There's these keywords. Throw that stuff in Google. So much damn stuff will come up. You put PDF on it. And some of those stuff come up. These little backdoor sites that just have information on them. And see what you get. You know? Because that's a basic one. You know what I mean? Like, you know, basic from the perspective of, you know, like you can research that yourself. That's not nothing that you need advice like that. You know what I mean? You know, got some case or something like that telling you, yeah, just Google. You know. So if the question got answered, give thanks for your question. If not, you know, try that stuff and then hit up again. You could do the DM or whatever. Hit up again and see where you're at after a couple of days of research in 7. Just you know, take your time. You know, rush. No speed stuff or nothing like that. Just, you know, open your heart to learning about 7. So the right information can gravitate to you on your quest. Oh yeah, like we were talking about in last night class. Hence your question. Because your question is supposed to lead you on a quest. It's not supposed to be answered. If your question's answered, then either that question sucked or the individual who was answering, you know, is about to give you a bill. Because this is a class now. Right, so Lodro Ali said study, 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 and study yourself. So nobody can do that for you. Nobody can study yourself for you. And being a Moor is part of yourself. So you might want to study yourself just because it's yours. Right. Yeah, that was a oops right there. So this thing has a little delay or something, so we'll just wait to see if there's any other questions. See if there's any more questions before we get off this. I know that countdown's on the way soon. If you got any questions out there, I mean, open it up. If you just jumped in, we were just talking about the force publique and who these people are with the fezzes on, because people see fezzes and get scared because they think that fezzes mean something to do with this. You know what I mean? And this has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with Moors from that perspective. This is just propaganda. Have you not want your birthright? Have you not want your birthright? When you should see it from the perspective of, damn, why would they just put fezzes on all their soldiers? Like, why would that be the thing to go into war with? What type of impact does this thing have on the battlefield? They don't have a strap or anything like that. They just got fez. Diving in bunkers and stuff like that, fez staying on still or whatever. All right, you know, okay. If it says on, if it stays on, okay, yeah, whatever. You know, you can put that up and someone shoot that and miss your head. Okay, whatever. Anything could happen. But why they use this headwear? Of all the headwears that they could use for their soldiers, they put them in a fez. You don't, something doesn't make you wonder about that? Opposed to just, oh my God, those are Moors working with the European. Like that's all you get from that. That's it. Well, you're lost, lost in the sauce. You're lost in the sauce if all you get is, oh my God, Moors work from Europeans. When you see a picture like this with some Moors in military for some Europeans. You have it so off and so twisted that you might have to come back here another round, because you're not ready to leave this yet. You have lots to learn still. You think you know something, but you don't know jack. You're playing around. That's what it is. If you don't, and we know people, we know prominent people who they know about their nationality and birthrights. They'll say Islam and all that. You know, that's what it is. They know that they're Moors. So study the truth about your nationality and your birthrights. You're not Negro, black, colored, Ethiopian, African, Indian, none of that. None of those misnomers. If you have a high, medium, or low concentration of melanin, you're a Moor. It's really that simple. So if there's no questions, keep studying. You can go to rvbaypublications.com. You go there. You know, if you could stay there for a year, that'll you get some good slaps from that website. Wake you up. Those are good wake up slaps. You know, make hair raise at the back of your neck when you're reading. Go to rvbaypublications.com. khalifamedia.com, willofallah.com, and don't forget, go to 27th Letter Podcast on YouTube. 27th Letter Podcast on YouTube, and you can check out the new documentary by Brother Lanre Obey. The new documentary is called I Am Not Black. So what's up there? Peace to all. Islam. And we'll build again.